Hey guys, Anna here. Welcome to today's video. So today is our second collaboration build for the week, and we are in the world of Evergreen Harbour. Now today we are collaborating with my very good friend Ness. I won't try and pronounce her name. She is Austrian and I will butcher it. Anyway, so back to the build. So today's build, we are building what is like an old refurbished kind of Victorian house, which has lots of like vintage furniture, and there's a little secret. So kind of the storyline that Ness had given me was that it's a couple has moved into this home and they have this abandoned second room. So it's a second room that's full of like old furnished trash, rubbish. There's probably a pizza box somewhere, and the vibe is that you'd have this really pristine home that does have some kind of more dated items, but it has this kind of secret room. And that was the kind of the backstory for today's build. The budget was 50k. Oh, and there's a cat. Sorry. And 50k. And also obviously here in Evergreen Harbour. So the packs that I had the usage of using was the vampires pack because I needed to use cobwebs, cats and dogs, obviously because there's a cat, and eco lifestyle, and obviously base game. So unfortunately, when I decided to build this house, my brain went to a Victorian build. That is where my brain went. And I've been absolutely loving building Victorian homes at the moment. And when this shell came together, which is what we are currently working on now. So my concept was the front of this house. So those two kind of hexagonal pieces that were kind of towered together with the dormers, the twin dormers, that was my concept. The rest of the house just kind of came together. Like I added on the chimney and I added on the other side. And it just turned out being this kind of like, I want to say like this old fashioned Southern American Victorian house. Like I'm almost thinking kind of like Louisiana. Like I'm thinking that kind of Southern home. And we do actually make it a white house as well. And the vampires pack mixed so well with this. And for a pack that I was meant to just kind of grab cobwebs from, it actually turned out to be the main focal point of the build. And in the end, I think I failed because I did not offer exactly what she asked for. In fact, I ended up giving her this pristine, classy looking, old-fashioned Victorian home. It is such a beautiful home. I would even argue to say that this is probably the best Victorian home I've built. I'm so proud of it. But as you can slowly see when we're working on the home now, there isn't much of a backyard. It doesn't fit the world that it's in. I begged and pleaded and I said, can I please move it over to Willow Creek? I obviously did show her a reference picture, probably about where we're seeing now. And I said, what do you think? She was absolutely obsessed. And I said, can I please move it to Willow Creek? Because I was thinking of kind of where the Umbridge Manor is, that portion of Willow Creek. I thought that this would be so beautiful. It's kind of like, it's Victorian. It matches that kind of part of the world, and it's a bigger lot, so I'll have a little bit more playroom to do with landscaping. I don't want to spoil the landscaping, but this is just such a beautiful build. Like definitely my favorite of the week. Spoiler alert. So I didn't really fit that rundown kind of vintage theme. I did kind of give a little bit more of, I don't know, because some of the assets in cats and dogs can run a little bit vintage. Like some of the color swatches are a little bit more muted and a little bit more faded, I want to say. And that's a little bit how I was able to give a little bit more of a dated look. Also base game, like all of their Victorian assets are very kind of old and dated looking. So yeah, that's kind of how we fit the brief. But it still has the room. It still has that second bedroom that is a little bit run down and what have you, but it does not exactly fit entirely the build. But now you can see where I put this white pinstriped paneling, it just comes together. It just looks like that old-fashioned kind of Southern American feel, and I am obsessed. I just think it's so beautiful with the dark roof and the striking, and we do put a bit of stonework on the chimney and in the top portion of all the roof pieces. It's just such, oh, so pretty. Ugh, I could stare at this forever. So we actually are now in Willow Creek. So we have moved. I do change the flooring. I do keep it a wooden floor, but I think I change it to the cats and dogs. The actual pathing in the front porch that's just a base game flooring. But I really liked it because it looked a bit kind of like dull and old, and I really wanted that vibe. But I also didn't want something too dark because I didn't want to take any emphasis away from that building. Alrighty, we are now mapping out my landscaping. As you guys know, I do this. I generally either start with trees or or I start with terrain paint. And that's kind of how I map out how I want this to go. And I started off with the cobbled together paths, and I really kind of drew this kind of curved path because to me, when I thought of this home, I wanted a garden. Like I wanted some like kind of like almost grabbing inspiration to the gardens that are actually behind this building. I actually really kind of pulled from there. And what I'm doing here is that circle in the center is going to have a fountain. So I not measured, but I kind of worked out how big that bottom of that fountain was and then moved the circle terrain brush to the certain size and then just drew it. And then I drew connecting paths that link front to the back. As you guys know that I like to do that. I just find that it makes it more cohesive. And then I went in with these grassed kind of terrain paint with the yellow flowers. I thought that was really effective. Just adds a little bit more texture. We clutter this. So I don't think there's any bare piece of green grass. I think everything has some form of landscaping or terrain paint on it. And what I'm doing here is mapping out all of the dirt. So this is all surrounded by plants, and you'll see it. It's absolutely phenomenal. I am obsessed with how this turned out. But I felt that this was important because this really played on that kind of theme that I went through. I was like, if I'm going to do a Victorian home, I might as well go all out, because I could have gone kind of like an old-fashioned Victorian home, which is probably more what the brief actually was. But I just thought that the build was so classy looking that I might as well run for it. So you guys know that I love this debug stone fence. So I used it in my whimsical manor build. That's a beautiful home as well. I should also check that one out. I'll link it down in the description below. So we went along with some fencing, and I really wanted to do these tall fences because it did kind of give me castle vibes. I don't know if you guys have seen the Disney movie Princess and the Frog, but this is what reminded me of like that time and that place, obviously Louisiana and that kind of theme. And I actually really loved it. I did stick more to the brief when we decorated the home, and you'll see that in a minute, but I really just fell in love with the actual shell. And Eco Lifestyle being the main expansion pack that we were supposed to use, I couldn't really overly use it. And the reason being, it's a very modern pack. And as you can see, I've got those two tall glass windows at the front of the build. I get rid of those, unfortunately. I couldn't really make this build modern in any way, because to me, I was like, it's Victorian. It's such a standard Victorian build, and I did not want to take away from it. Okay, so let's get into this landscaping and stop rambling on. We start with some cypress trees. As usual, I love cypress trees with all of like my kind of traditional builds. If I do a colonial build, if I do anything that's kind of really like, like a white slanting house, I'd always use cypress trees. I think they're beautiful for that. And then I found these kind of white bushes. I don't want to say they're lavenders, but they're kind of like a pale whitish purple plant. And I actually lined all of the curved sections, and this created such a dynamic look that I just was like, yep. I originally was only going to do it on one side, but I make everything symmetrical, because to me, this is a very symmetrical build. And I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I am obsessed with symmetrical builds. I have a thing for them. They definitely it just looks so pleasing to me. Sometimes you just need that, where it looks that like you've got a build where it's like you can tell that everything is placed with such precision, with so much thought. And I love building those type of homes. And this was very much that type of home. I would actually say that all three builds this week, all three collab builds, are actually built in that very precise way of decorating, landscaping, the actual building itself. Every column has a purpose. The staircases are very intentional. The landscaping is all very intentional. And I really love that type of building. Like that, this is very much Anna building at its core. And with that, if you would like to see more of this type of building, if that's the type of building that really excites you, then join the channel. Subscribe today, or like, or leave a comment. It really does help me out, and yeah, I would love to be able to hear your ideas of future content that you guys would be interested in. I don't mind branching out. I definitely feel that in these collab weeks, we have really been branching out, and we've been building lots of styles of homes that I wouldn't normally build. And I've been really grateful for that. And I think that this has been so much fun. fun. We actually have collaboration builds booked out till the end of the year. So I think it will be some really exciting couple of weeks coming up. And yeah, so be on the hunt out for that. Alrighty, so now we come in with the hydrangeas. You knew you were going to see hydrangeas. You will also see daisies, but you will pretty much see every debug flower there is, because these hydrangeas I lined, but all of the main dirt sections along the fence around the property are just random flowers, and I'm starting that bit now. So I didn't really want to speed or over edit this a lot, because I wanted you to see this process, because the landscaping of this build is my favorite part of the build. Which I don't normally say. Normally I'm like, oh, there's a room that's really nice. No, the landscaping of this build is why I would download this house. If I was not the person who created this and didn't already have a copy, I would download this house because of the landscaping. I think it's so beautiful. When I do some bird's eye photos and imagery, like just seeing it from like a top down view, it's so beautiful. All the colors, it's so nice. These low laying blue flowers worked wonders, and I really loved how it wasn't white, but it was still a pale color. And I think the pastel, it really played well in being bright enough for you to see it. And I hope we do like a bird's eye top down view so that you can see how this looks. Like all you see is like this pale blue that goes in with the reds and the pinks and the purples, and it's beautiful. So yeah, it was really important for me to obviously use debug because we did have a budget at this time. Spoiler alert, we do actually can the budget, because when I decorated this home, it was actually very much underfurnished, and I sent tons of photos to Ness, and I gave her the option. I was like, would you like me to throw the budget out the window and decorate this home how I feel that it should be? And she said yes. So how today's video is actually going to work is you will have complete footage of my initial decorating, but what we're actually going to do is I'm going to give you a really detailed house tour, and that's going to have the new decorations. So I pretty much gutted the house. So what you see initially is not the finished outcome. So in terms of the building and the landscaping, that doesn't get touched, but make sure you stay till the end for the very exciting house tour where I've revamped everything. The kitchen is completely changed. It's beautiful. And I think that, you know, she hasn't seen it. I've kept this a secret, because when I do these collab builds, it's a collaboration. So I want my friends and our besties to know what they're in for. But I do like to keep a little bit of secret. We are just finishing up the landscaping now. As you can see how you've watched this unfold, just pretty much any color you can think of has been crammed in. Some standouts, I love those pink flowers. Obviously the daisies, you know, I use them all the time. Hydrangeas. The azaleas were really pretty. They're the pale pink flowers that you can see there. And yeah, I just kind of went in with, you know, debug flowers, and I just, you know, alt placed, sized them up and down, and just created different things. We just placed the fountain there. As you can see, it fits perfectly in that space, just going in with some flowers. And as you can see from a top down view, guys, look at that landscaping. I couldn't even build. I was so distracted. Alrighty, let's get into the floor plan. The floor plan of this one came around pretty simple. We did start with the stairs because the stairs, that's a tip of mine. Always start with your stairs. It will allow you to help you shape rooms. So as you saw, I actually drew walls around the stairs, and it allowed me to section off that office, an entryway, and then my living quarters. So usually in this build, I think I keep, yes, the kitchen and the dining together, and then I have a living room off to the side. Alrighty, this is the upstairs. So the upstairs is separated into two main rooms. The master suite has a ensuite, and then a skill building room, which we're just drawing there. And then, yeah, so, and then just a little space. So because the brief was that this home was to be a 2-bedroom home, I didn't really want to add too many bedrooms, because to me, the storyline was that this couple, there was no indication of children or anything. So I didn't really want to do that. So there is a skill room, which if you were to download this house, my gallery ID will be in the description box below. You can convert the skill room into a bedroom easily. There's actually like a laundry in this build that you can convert if you want to. So there are spaces you can convert, but if you want to keep it how it is, I understand. So just putting in the bathrooms there. And then I changed to this kind of more muted wallpaper and kept the poinsettias in the master bedroom, because I really loved that vintage kind of classy feel that it gave. And then we went with the kind of cats and dogs paneling in the spare room. So that room is that second room that is a bit fun. We'll get into that room. All right, I do start by putting some railings and doing the stairs, just drawing that in here. And yeah, so the upstairs are very spacious. So I've got actually so we do have a cat in this build, so I wanted to make a very spacious kind of cat space as well. I loved this bay window seat. I thought it was perfect. That was something that I knew that had to be in this build because that's very much giving off that kind of semi-Victorian coastal vibe, which I really liked. So we are in the living room, and standout pieces. I love this buffet table from Cats and Dogs. I love the feeling of it. It's very rustic. And we played on the blues. So as you can see, I was trying to be conservative. I wanted to pull that dark blue from the cushion from the bay window seat and use a lot of different textures. All right, we are jumping. We are into the kitchen. Now remember, this is all going to change. This is all going to change. But I wanted to do kind of a wraparound kitchen and just put a pet bowl and the bin, and then into more of that bay window section of the room. That is where the dining table is, because I really love to put dining tables in curved sections. I think they look beautiful, especially rounded tables, which is exactly what I'm going to do. No? Yeah, eco lifestyle. See, I did try to use this pack, and this was still when I was adhering to a 50k budget, so I had to be cheap about it. This bathroom is as plain as it gets. I think I do improve it slightly, but that's pretty much what we start with. Alrighty, and the office. So we have an office downstairs. This is another room that you could make a bedroom if you'd like. I went with the eco lifestyle desk with a cheapish chair, computer. We managed to get a computer in this build, and this is the area, the master bedroom, where I wish I could have done more. This is literally all I can put in this room. Very sad, but we did use that kind of Victorian mission style dated bed. I really thought that was cool. The produce crate, I really liked that. That kind of tied it into the room next door that kind of has that junk and rubbish and abandoned feel. I really like that. And I really like the master bedroom, how it's got kind of like a dressing section off where the ensuite bathroom is. I thought that was really sweet. And you see that a lot in like more dated houses. All right, friends, we are into the exciting part. So this is the kind of rundown bedroom that we created. I used a lot of Vampires pack in here. I use a lot of kind of, there's cracks, there's tears in the walls, there's the dirty double, everyone knows the dirty double, and just a lot of cobwebs and a lot of like junk and rubbish. And we used a kind of a broken dresser in here, and it's so good. I had so much fun building this room, and I think it's a little surprise that you go from such a classic Victorian, very pretty, kind of almost like wealthy looking house, and then like you see this room and you're like, what is going on here? So there's definitely a story. And I would actually be very interesting to see if our good friend Ness actually uses this house and whether the storyline does depict something in this bedroom, because I think we would all be interested in knowing. So I used a lot of objects from Vampires pack. I really wanted to use this kind of, is it a metal? Is it a heating iron? I don't know what it is. I used a lot of those candles. This is that broken dresser. This had to be in this room. This was actually the only item, that and the bed, that I knew that I wanted to place some rubbish. The Chinese box, you have to have the Chinese box, right? I just kind of did some alt placing. We had a witch's hat, which I think you guys call them traffic cones, but we call them witch's hats in Australia. I don't know if you guys do, but we do. That was all important. The pizza box, I told you, pizza box, right? Just raise that up, put that on the bed. This succulent plant from Eco Lifestyle, so good, $70, super cheap. And yeah, so we did end up putting a chess table. I do manage to put some really cheap and nasty kind of chairs out the front. And this was the type of the build where I was like, okay, I've finished this to the best of my ability, and it just doesn't look right. Actually, I do put a little bit of outdoor seating. I thought I really wanted to do like a bench or some chairs and a table, so I thought that was sweet. And some more objects for the cat and a rug. So I think this is all. And now we will be getting into the tour, and we can see what we have actually transformed this home in. Now, you did just see a Penguin TV. Now, the Penguin TV is actually there by request. So I said to Ness, we were having a good old joke, and I said to her, I was like, look, I'm going to have a Penguin TV in like this grand Victorian house. Like, that's what, I have no money. And she was like, yes, I want a Penguin TV. So the Penguin TV comes with it, guys. Alrighty, guys, we are officially into the build for our tour. So we are into the game. I'm just going to show you what I mean by that top-down view. Like, I could just stare at this for hours. This landscaping is absolutely pretty. All of these plants are individually placed. Yeah, so that's mainly the outside. I won't focus too much on the the outside because we have seen that. So let's get into the home, shall we? So the entryway has not changed very much. We've just added a painting and a plant, and then we move into, let's do the living room. Alrighty, so now this is what I mean by I needed more money. I wanted curtains, and I've done a combination of two different styles of curtains in this build. So you have the very more like kind of Vampires Pack, the Victorian curtains, but I've mixed it with the cats and dogs kind of vintage, kind of cottagey kind of curtains, and these are everywhere in the house, and I've been obsessed with them for this build. I still kept a little bit of eco lifestyle because I felt that some objects did fit that brief, and yeah, so I still went with a blue theme. So we have updated the couches here. You guys know I love these kind of lounge chairs from Cats and Dogs. I think they're beautiful. Put some more decor around the place, but yeah, I think the main upgrade was all of the curtains. I still kept the Penguin TV because it was part of the brief. All right, let's go into the office. Again, we've gone in with those kind of Cats and Dogs curtains. I've changed the colors. So you've obviously got the blue tartan and the muted kind of brown. I really love how the muted brown matches with the woods in the chairs, matches even the borders and the skirtings of the wallpaper. It's beautiful. I just upgraded the computer to a laptop, changed the chair, added a rug and an extra plant. All right, so we did a laundry. We did a laundry in this build, and there isn't a clothesline, but we do have a dryer. I did want to just use this room for something. I didn't want to keep it empty. I didn't actually say this, but before this, I did put a few cobwebs in here. I think you might be able to see them, or did I delete them? I don't know. Can't see them. Oh no, they're still there. There's still a cobweb. See? So I wanted to do that to kind of emulate that this was an abandoned room. And to me, I would have put a laundry in this. So I've added it in there. Alrighty, let's look at this beautiful kitchen. So this is the creme de la creme. I am obsessed with this kitchen. I love the cabinetry that I was able to create. I don't normally use this. So what this is a curved section that I've kind of alt placed another square section into it to kind of create like a continuous island, and I think it's absolutely beautiful. I love this sage green. So these are from the Vampires Pack. This cabinetry, I really love the brown. I think the brown was good because it gave a different color to play with, because there's a lot of obviously greens going along, and then we've got this kind of burgundy red rust color, which I thought was nice. It's not the same as the roses, but it's along those lines, and I think it's really pretty. We then head into the dining section. Again, we've used those vampires curtains. I did try to match the green, but I don't think it matches very well, unfortunately, but I really loved the table. I continued with that rust theme, but also the wood tones all match, and that was very important to me. I pulled a bit of the yellow in the fruit in the painting with the yellow in the bowls, and also this shelf. I put a little cat succulent. I thought that was really sweet, kind of adding into that theme of, you know, that they're a cat person. And yeah, so this is the kitchen. I think it's really pretty, and obviously the gold in the foliage of the orchid matches with those things. Color of thirds, people, you'll see a lot of that in here. So you head down into the back of the build. This is kind of like the foyer to the back. I say it's like the entry to the back. I've just got a scratching post, a bookshelf, and a chest table. You then go into the bathroom. So the bathroom, again, I've used those curtains, but I've gone a different color. So I've kept it very light in here. I wanted to really use the blue themes. So I've used shower tub combo just because it's very vintage. This matches the house perfectly, and I think this is really cool. Got a laundry basket in there. Alrighty, are we ready? We're gonna go upstairs. Okay. Oh, secrets. Okay, this is the landing. So we do have that little corner for the cat and a little seating chair. I've obviously matched the yellows. And then we have this space here. I've just used a little more of eco lifestyle because I felt bad. Yellow is very prominent in this landing. All right, let's go into the owner's suite. So this is the master bedroom. I love this bedroom. I'm obsessed. I still went with a little bit of damaged, exposed wall areas. I thought that was important because I feel like you're not going to just have that in one room. It's going to be in different parts of the house. You guys know how I feel about these candles on the wall mounts from the Vampires Pack. I'm obsessed with them. I really loved these kind of curtains. I went went with like a mint colored bed, and I thought that was really pretty. I didn't really pull a lot of colors with that, but I thought it was really nice. We were able to put in a TV in this build, more areas for the cat. We've got some decor. This is what I mean by that kind of dressing section. So she's got her dresser, she's got a mirror, and it's like a little place for the cat. And I really loved these eco lifestyle wall decor, the flowered wall decor pieces. Absolutely stunning. I thought it was beautiful. And then her ensuite, absolutely sweet. Again, with the tartan blue curtains and just some decorations. I really love putting hand towels near my sinks. I'm obsessed with it lately. So we use from the Vampires pack. And yeah, I thought a tub. This to me gives me tub vibes. It's anything that has kind of like a rounded section, tubs, rounded tables. It just looks like a statement piece needs to be in the center. And that's why I do it. So to me, that's why I've got a tub in their master bedroom. Like, you know, she's having a bit of a soak and a chill. Alrighty, let's head into the skill building room. I just put a woodworking table and a painting thing and a bit of a chair. That's all. You could easily make this the bedroom. This could have been a nursery. It could have been a kid's room. But, you know, I didn't really have the storyline for it. And I did ask Ness if she wanted me to, but she was happy with it just being a skill room. All right, I've made you wait long enough. All right, so this room has not changed. This room has not changed, of course. We saw it in the speed build portion of this build. Just a recap of how it looked. Very run down. I didn't put any curtains. I could have. And if I had the werewolves pack curtains would have been perfect in this build. Absolutely draped along all the walls. And yeah, so that is today's build, guys. Am I missing something? Oh, I actually did keep the front. I did. I really should have updated this, but would put just like maybe one of the cats and dogs chairs. That would have worked really well. But here's another view of that back. Ugh, so good, right? And that's today's build. And with that, I hope you have a wonderful day. And thank you so much, Ness, for collaborating with me. I am so sorry that I wasn't able to meet the brief of your restrictions, but I really hope I built you a wonderful house nonetheless. And with that, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye for now.